All right, guys. So we're gonna be talking about key closing attitudes. All right. So I'm gonna talk about the right combination to unlocking sales. All right. So closing is simply professionally helping people make decisions that are good for them. So I want you guys to write that down. Closing is simply professionally helping people make decisions that are good for them. All right. Closing is simply professionally helping people make decisions that are good for them. All right. Sometimes sales reps get nervous during the close, right? Maybe because of the fear of failure or the fear of rejection. Right? They assume that because of the tension that they're closing, that they're not natural salespeople. Like, that's wrong. Right? No one is born a salesperson. Right? No one. Every successful salesperson learned how to sell and practice closing techniques that smooth over that tension. Right? The goal of the close is to help the customers make a good decision and to make the customer feel comfortable about that decision. The goal of the close is to help the customer make a good decision and to make the customer feel comfortable about that decision. So here are some tips that'll help you smooth over that tension and help the customer make the right decision. All right, number one, make a commitment to help the customer. Right, make a commitment to help the customer. Right, all the training in the world isn't going to help you out unless you want to sell. Right, but don't go into the presentation with dollar signs in your eyes. Right, sometimes this is very difficult for some people because when they're on a string of no sales, all they can think about is, how am I going to get this next sale? Right? Don't go into the presentation with dollar signs in your eyes, because if the customer thinks you're only after the sale to make money, they will never buy. Right? So make a commitment to yourself and your customer that you do want to sell on every presentation so everybody benefits. Right? So make a commitment to help the customer. Number two, start closing early. Start closing early. Closing begins with your first contact with people, not just at the end of the demo. Right? Not just at the end of the demo. To help the customer make the decision, don't wait till the end. Start on the when does closing start?
You go to your door as soon as you walk into the door.
Wrong. It starts on the phone. Right? Starts on the phone. Starts on the phone. Start on the phone with a strong, effective phone approach. Right? Start on the phone with a strong, effective phone approach. Right? Build rapport with your customers during the demo and learn to be in control of the situation at all times. You do not want your customer to take control of the presentation. That is how you have 3-hour demos, because they're in control and you're not. So learn to be in control of the situation at all times. Number three, understand that you only have one shot to help the customer. You have one shot. Don't miss your chance to blow. Right? The first call should be the only one that counts. There's no tomorrow. Right? It's taken decades before someone told your prospect about Cutco. Decades, right? Literally, you're seeing people that have never heard of Cutco before, and they're 40, 50 years old. So they might never have that chance ever again. So they don't get it today, they probably never will. So understand you have that one shot to help the customer. There's no tomorrow, there's no I'll buy next month, next week, nothing like that. All right, number four, have confident expectations that you will sell to every customer. Have confident expectations that you will sell to every customer. Expect that that person's going to buy. It's not a question as to whether they're going to buy, but rather how much. Right? You need to pretend that everybody has $5,000 just waiting to spend on Cutco. Right? Ask expectantly. Right? Like you couldn't understand someone not owning Cutco. Right? You guys notice how I sell to customers and how I talk to customers? I get so baffled when someone says no to $90 a month for 5 months. Like I'm like, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. Right? And that's how I ask every single appointment. Right? I don't understand why someone can't own Cutco, because my conviction is that high enough. Right? Number five, be enthusiastic and have fun. A sale is what takes place when there's a transfer of enthusiasm. Right? A sale is what takes place when there's a transfer of enthusiasm. Right? It needs to be a constrained enthusiasm, though, a dynamic tension rather than just all hype. Right? Most sales are made in how well you present the product. Right? To close sales, you also need to have fun at your presentation. So make your demo upbeat and fun. Right? Mm-hmm. So constrained enthusiasm. So what does that mean? Right? It means that you're not just having all fun. Right? Because if you have all fun during the close, they're not going to take you seriously. right? They're going to think that this is just a what? Practice presentation, right? Have fun, right? But it needs to be constrained. It has to have that dynamic tension rather than just all hype, right? Make them upbeat and fun, still have high attitude and high energy when you're closing, right? But be serious, right? Number 6, never, ever quote a price without first building value in the product and doing a price comparison. I don't care if they have all the Cutco in the world, right? I don't care if they're hardcore Cutco fans, right? Never quote a price without first building value in the product and doing a price comparison, right? Although closing occurs throughout the presentation, right, it's possible to ask for the order too soon. So make sure your prospect understands what they get for, what they pay for, and how it compares to other high quality manufacturers before you tell them the price, right? The best way to do that is to follow the close you were taught, right? Easy enough. All right, number 7, use the close word for word and ask for the order, right? Use the close word for word and ask for the order. All closing is a transfer of belief from the presenter to the customer. Right? You don't talk them into buying something. You enthusiastically motivate them. Right? When you know the close, your confidence level is higher, and that confidence shines through to the customers. Act and close boldly. Right? Practice your tone. Speak confidently and strongly. Right? That's what's important. All right. And step number 8, once you've asked for the order, shut up. Right? If you talk first, you lose the sale. Once you've asked for the order, shut up. If you talk first, you lose the sale. Then neither you nor the customer benefits. Right? The only pressure you are allowed in selling is the pressure of the silence. Right? Wait for an answer, no matter how long you have to wait. Right? My favorite story is John Keneally, when he said he asked for the order and he didn't say anything for 5 minutes. He just sat there and stared at the piece of paper for 5 minutes straight and just waited for her to say something. And this was his signature set that he closed. She finally said something, he handled the objection, and then closed in the signature. Right? So once you've asked for the order, shut up. All right, step number 9, don't take the first no seriously. Don't take the first no seriously. Right? Over 80% of all the sales are closed after the 5th attempt. So if you haven't asked at least 5 times for a sale, you haven't asked enough. Right? The more techniques you know, the better chance you have. Right? The more techniques you know, the better chance you have. Right? Number 10, handle objections and drop down slowly. Handle objections and drop down slowly. Right? Practice daily and keep your closes simple. Confused people don't buy. Right? Practice daily and keep your closes simple. Confused people don't buy. Keep in mind that all a qualified prospect needs to know to make a good decision is, do they need it? Can they use it? Can they afford it? And do they want it? Right? Of course, everybody needs cutlery. Right? They're going to use it almost every single day. If your demo is good, they're going to want it. And dropping down slowly will help people fit Cutco into their budgets. Right? If every client knew as much about Cutco as you did, they would all buy. Right? It's your job to educate them and help them make the right decision. Right? All the closes in the world aren't going to help you out unless you practice them in front of real, live, breathing customers. Bless you. Right? When you're in a position, when you know someone isn't going to buy, try everything just to learn how each close works. Right? Because if you see a qualified prospect, show a quality demo, have fun, ask for the order, and maintain a proper closing attitude, and the sales will follow. Right? But you're not always going to get the yes. You're going to get rejection. Right? And you need to master your ability to handle those rejections. Right? Tom Hopkins, a noted author and speaker on successful selling, has a list of 5 attitudes necessary to conquering the fear of rejection. So work on learning them. Don't just listen to them once. All right? So here's the 5 attitudes towards rejection. Number 1, I never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. I never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. When a customer says no, you have an opportunity to ask yourself, why? Don't refuse the lesson. After all, you've already paid for it by missing the sale. Right? Thomas Edison tested thousands of filaments that didn't work in the electric light before he found the one that did. Right? So never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. Right? Number 2, I never see failure as failure, but as a negative feedback I need to change directions. I never see failure as failure, but as a negative feedback I need to change directions. Some people respond to rejection by going home or to a bar. Right? They just give up. Right? Think like a torpedo. Each rejection is like a course correction. So learn to be thankful for them, right? Because if a torpedo doesn't get a course correction, it can't hit its target. After enough corrections, you will reach your goal. All right? So use the negative feedback to change directions. Number 3, I never see failure as failure, but as an opportunity to develop my sense of humor. I never see failure as failure, but as an opportunity to develop my sense of humor. Right? Right after talking to a harsh customer, you feel bad and your work suffers. But after a few weeks, days, right, you're joking about it. Why not just joke about it right away? Right? Learn not to take rejection personally. Because when a customer is really harsh, they're probably mad because of someone else, not you. You were just their scapegoat. Right? I should have had fun when that customer fell asleep on me right then and there. Be like, Mrs. Jones, do I need to get you some coffee? Right? I would have just laughed it off. So just have that humor, right? Develop that sense of humor. Okay, no matter how harsh they are. Number 4, I never see failure as failure, but as the opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance. I never see failure as failure, but as the opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance. In any endeavor, top performers continuously practice their skills. Non-performers don't. On every presentation you do, whether the customer buys or not, you are improving your skills, right? Have the opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance. Opportunity to practice my techniques and perfect my performance. Step number 5, or attitude number 5, sorry. Right? I never see failure as failure, but as the game I must play to succeed. I never see failure as failure, but as the game I must play to succeed. Those who risk failure frequently fail and frequently, right? But risking failure is extremely profitable in our business, right? I'm going to use some baseball terms. You might not know these people, right? But you probably understand the reference. Ty Cobb stole 94 bases in 144 attempts one year, right? Max Carey stole 51 bases in 54 attempts. Percentage-wise, Max Carey was more successful. But who knows, right? But who knows Max Carey? Anyone? No one. Okay. I don't even know who Max Carey is either. All right, everybody knows who Ty Cobb is apparently. The most successful people are not those who fail the least often, but those who succeed the most often. Right? Those who succeed most often usually fail pretty often too. Right? It's a game. Success and failure is a game, no matter what. You got to look at it like that, right? Because it just is, right? You need to look at your failures the same way you look at your successes, right? They're equal. They're on an equal playing field, right? You can't enjoy the fruits of labor without also enjoying the agonies of defeat, right? That's important, right? Success and failure is the same, right? Because failure will always lead to success no matter what. Fail forward, right? That's so important. Do you think every successful person in this world didn't have failure in their life? Of course not. Some of the most successful people in this world have dealt with more shit than you guys ever will, right? And it's 100% true. I can tell you plenty of stories. You might think you've gone through some shit. I can tell you 20 more stories of people who've gone through worse shit, right? But they're successful today because they didn't let their past define them. They didn't let that situation control them, right? They didn't let their failures hold them back, right? It's not about your resources. It's about how resourceful are you, right? The cards that you are dealt, you can't control them, but what can you control? What you do moving forward, right? So that is the 5 attitudes towards rejection, as well as closing attitudes, all right?